Hello traders, my name is Tomasz Wiśniewski. I'm a chief analyst in Alperi Research and Analysis, and this is daily analytical report. Let's start with the macro calendar. As always, you need to always start with the macro calendar before trading. And first, look on the calendar, and you can see that not much is going to happen on Tuesday. We'll just have a speech from Jerome Powell, so Fed's chairman, and that will be in 8 hours. Let's filter out the most important events today, and you can see speech from Jerome Powell. Overnight, well, in the morning, we had interest rate decision statement from Australia and Australian dollars. A week after the statement, we had an interest rate decision. Rates remained unchanged. And from the calendar point of view, from the fundamental point of view, that would be it. Also, we will have GDT price index, which is important for the New Zealand dollar. It is a change in price of the dairy products, and New Zealand is one of the biggest exporter of the dairy, actually the biggest exporter of the dairy products in the world. So that's this data is definitely important for New Zealand economy of the New Zealand, so the New Zealand dollar itself. With that being said, let me show you the charts, because we have super important movements on the market right now. Those important movements are happening on the American dollar, and the American dollar is gaining strength at the moment. American dollar is in a very good condition, and we're happy about that. Why is that? Because we are talking about that since the end of the last week. We are talking about the bearish sentiment on euro dollar after the price broke the lower line of this rectangle pattern. So there was a rectangle with a horizontal support here marked with orange and yellow color. The price created kind of a head and shoulder formation on our early chart. You will be able to see this left shoulder, head, and the right shoulder broke the neckline, broke the lower line of the rectangle, and went down. Sellers used the momentum to break the long-term uptrend line, which connects the most important higher lows since the middle of August. Price went lower. We broke the support from the middle of September, used that as resistance, went lower again. Here the price created a smaller rectangle, also broke the support of this rectangle, used that as resistance, and now we are breaking 115.30, which is super important, because this green line, as you can see, is a long-term support. Here, it is a long-term support, and it is a long-term neckline, left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. So we had a sell signal here, but that was false breakout. The price went higher, and now we're breaking that area again, and maybe this time signal will be legitimate. That's a nice bearish setup. I have it on my account, on my live trading account. This one is demo, so you don't see it, but on my live trading account I do have this position open, short position on euro dollar, and it's going extremely well. As you can see here, the price is going down almost without any stop. Next instrument is cable, and I also do have a position here, and I also do have a position here. So I haven't been trading for a while. I think that I didn't open a position in 4 weeks, and I came back on the market last week with those 3 trades, and those 3 trades are awesome. So that's a nice comeback, and I'm really happy that I resisted trading for a while and waited for those good setups. What's happening with the cable is that we have a channel up formation, then the price breaks the lower line of the channel up formation. That gives us a sell signal. Then we do have a small correction of this drop, which is a flag. Then we break the lower line of the flag and the price goes lower. Sell signal was the proper legitimate sell signal was triggered here when the price broke the lower line of the flag and then tested that as a resistance along with this horizontal resistance here. So here we got a proper sell signal. The price went lower. Here we had a small bump. Probably many stop loss orders of the traders who entered here were cleared. Unfortunately, it's happening like that. My stop loss was here, and today we don't have any doubts. We break the lower line of this correction, and the price is aiming. The price is aiming 61.8. What is really nice is that it's a channel up formation, then a flag, then a smaller flag, and a downswing. And now, as for the target, 61.8 seems a reasonable place for a target. Those highs from here, support from here. So the price getting there is really probable, and the sell signal will be present as long as we stay below the yellow area. Now Australian dollar to American dollar, which in my opinion has one of the most technical setups, to be honest with you, because look at this. And this is a daily chart, and the price has a very important downtrend line here, which connects lower highs since the beginning of the year, actually. So the most important lower highs in 2018. A correction, flag, correction, that was a triangle, correction, correction, a flag. And this flag had a double top formation, 1, 2 on this downtrend line. And the second top was a shooting star. So we have a shooting star on a long-term downtrend line, which is a proper, legitimate, important sell signal. In addition to that, we broke horizontal, on H4. We broke the horizontal support, then tested that twice as a resistance, 1, 2. The price created a flag here, but that can be changed for a support here, a double top on a resistance, and boom, what a drop. That is a very nice sell signal. I think I open my position somewhere here. I can lower stop loss, I can lower exposure because my stop loss was here. I can lower it to this area. Well, that is legitimate setup for a long term. I think it should continue to go down. I'm checking my account now on mobile. Euro dollar 1,400 euros, cable 1,200 euros, and Australian dollar to American dollar 400 euros profit. Altogether that's 3,000 euros. So that's pretty nice start of the month, let's say. Those setups are currently the best on the market, but let's check the other ones. Let's check if there are any more trading occasions. And we'll start with WTI oil, where we do have a proper long-term buy signal. So the price created inverse head and shoulder pattern, left shoulder, head and right shoulder. We got a breakout of the neckline. After this, we got a pennant. definitely not helping here, and the strength of the dollar may trigger us a small reversal. But as you can see, oil today made new long-term highs, but this reversal looks promising, but that's not a trend reversal. That is just a correction, which should aim the orange line and test it as a support, and that would be absolutely normal. And I don't think that would scare off the buyers on the market, because this kind of a movement is expected, at least in my understanding of the price action. Now gold. Gold, as you can see, suffered here, which was mostly due to the strength of the dollar, but you can see that today gold is pretty resilient to the strengthening of the American dollar, and we are trying to climb higher. Unfortunately, the situation here is negative. Looks similar to this one on Australian dollar to American dollar. Those instruments are correlated, but it's not about correlation here, it's about breakout of the support 1, 2, second test of the support as a resistance, and most probably a drop. And Australian dollar, I mean here, breakout 1, 2 and drop. So breakout 1, 2 and maybe a drop. We all know that history likes to repeat itself, especially on the forex market. About gold, well, I'm a fan of gold, you know that. I'm a fan of the physical gold, to be honest with you, but I have to be honest with myself, and when I don't see a buy signal on gold, I'm gonna tell you that there is no buy signal on gold now whatsoever. The buy signal will be triggered when the price will break the green line, but as for now, this is not it doesn't really have to happen, because current setup is more bearish, and I do see a bearish potential here. And now dollar index. We wrote analysis about dollar index yesterday, and that analysis was positive for the buyers. That analysis was written somewhere here, and look at this, boom, huge upswing. So what is happening here is that we broke the downtrend line here, we broke the horizontal resistance, and after this dollar is on the loose. We broke 23.6, 38.2, which was important here, and after the breakout it was a resistance here, and here. After the breakout, it's support. We also respected 50 Fibonacci, so you can see that the price is respecting those Fibo lines, and we are aiming higher. Maybe we'll respect 61.8, which is also in line with those tops. So that's very interesting that price actually here, that price respects those lines. To wrap that up, there is obviously a buy signal on dollar. Most probably we'll have a correction, but the long-term buy signal is definitely on. American dollar to Canadian dollar, we do have a very positive situation for the Canadian dollar, which is mostly due to the agreement about NAFTA. And so Canadian dollar is gaining strength. So American dollar is super strong right now, but there's one currency among the majors that is stronger than the American dollar, and this is Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar is a real star currently due to the NAFTA talks, but also due to the price of oil, right? Canada is one of the biggest exporters of the oil so we shouldn't be surprised about that. Here on American dollar to Canadian dollar, I want to show you the long-term situation here. So that's a weekly chart, and you can see a drop here, then a correction. That is a flag, and then there is a drop again, and then there is a flag again, and this correction was the same as this one. Those yellow rectangles are the same. So this correction was 1300 pips, and this one was more or less 1300 pips. That's pretty remarkable. And last week the price, well, 2 weeks ago, the price breaks the lower line of this flag, then tests that as a resistance, and then goes lower. And that is a proper sell signal. You can see horizontal support. That is a proper sell signal, and in my opinion the price should continue to go down. Buyers have only one hope here. So there is an upswing, correction, and maybe an upswing, because that is a smaller flag itself. But the setup on the long-term chart is more important, is more relevant. Weekly candles are above daily are above H4, and it goes on. So in my opinion, we do have a proper sell signal here on American dollar to Canadian dollar. Talking about the strength of the Canadian dollar, I need to mention Canadian dollar to Japanese yen, where the situation was bearish here in August, because the price was creating a head and shoulder pattern. So we had a left shoulder, head and right shoulder, but the trading signal from the head and shoulder pattern is triggered only when the price breaks the neckline, and the neckline here is this blue line, and the neckline was not broken. The neckline was not broken, so we got no trading signal. Instead of that, the price broke the long-term downtrend line, which connects the most important lower highs since, well, actually one lower high and the stop since the December 2014. So we broke this line, we broke horizontal resistance, and the price went higher, and that is a legitimate buy signal. But as you can see, we have a small reversal here, so maybe we'll test this green line and then go higher, and that would be really nice if the price could test this line as a support and then climb higher, because that would significantly increase the risk to reward ratio. Well, would make the risk to reward ratio better. Because, for example, if you trade now, your stop loss needs to be here, 240 pips, and your take profit is on 270 pips, 80. Okay, that's slightly, profit is slightly bigger than the potential loss, which is not the desirable risk to reward ratio. It would be better if the price went lower, if the price go lower here, and then, for example, the price goes here, tests this line as a support, you buy here, stop loss is still here, 110 pips, but the take profit is on 400 pips, which significantly increases the risk to reward ratio, so makes this trade better, because the risk is lower and the potential profit is higher. Those instruments I had prepared for you, but as we always start our daily analytical reports with a fresh analysis on major instruments, because I think that the fresh look is always better. So let me analyze the charts, and then you will be able to go through the process of analyzing charts. So learn how to use the technical analysis. In Australian dollar to Canadian dollar on a weekly chart, we had this long-term symmetric triangle pattern, resistance, support. We broke a few weeks ago, we broke the lower line of this, tested that last week as a resistance, and that is a proper long-term sell signal. Yes, there was a nice test last price. Look at this, price broke this lower line of the triangle, tested that as a resistance and tested that with a flag, and the breakout of the lower line of the flag was a proper sell signal. But that's gone. I don't think you should chase this occasion, it's too late now. Maybe a correction and then drop, but as for now this is too late, so never chase the occasion. Also don't trend line. So maybe we will have a small pullback and then a drop, but I'm gonna leave this chart for the further reference, and we will see how this situation what will happen later. Australian dollar to Swiss franc. Okay, that's interesting, because we had a strong drop, and the most recently the price, as you can see, almost tested that as a resistance, almost. And we need to estimate how deep this correction was. 23.6 from this, and I think that we can measure also Fibos from this. Okay, different color. No significant Fibo lines, 38.2 almost, so they moved a little bit too early. I would love if the price bounced from here, but they moved a little bit too early. Maybe they will climb a bit higher, but well, actually that would be awesome occasion to go short if the price climb here and then. So we're gonna leave this chart here because it's an potentially interesting trading occasion. Now Australian dollar to Japanese yen. Strong drop. Well, rate statement, rate decision. 7:30 today in the morning. Coincidence? I don't think so. So this is 8 o'clock. This is the reaction on the Australian dollar to American dollar. As for the technical setup, here on this pair we don't have any proper trading signal, so thank you. Australian dollar to New Zealand dollar. Downtrend line, uptrend line, breakout of this lower black line can bring us a proper sell signal, and we're getting closer to it. Oh yes, that can be a nice trading setup. So price breaking those lines can be a proper sell signal. Let me change the color like that. So price getting here will be a really nice sell signal. Next one, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. What do we have here? Is the strength of the Canadian dollar defended this support of the channel down formation. In theory, we should get a sell signal soon after the contact with this line, because on a weekly chart this formation promotes a further continuation of this drop. Probably it won't happen this week, that would be too much, but maybe it will happen next week, so we will come back to this instrument next week. Let me analyze other instrument. Weekly chart on Swiss franc to Japanese yen. Pretty promising resistance. That seems like a rejection of this resistance. As for the lower time frames, no, that does not look like a reversal. So I wouldn't go short here. This situation is not so good in my opinion. Euro to Australian dollar. Let me remove those. Euro to Australian dollar. Here we do have a resistance. Yes. Seems like a rejection, but for me, going short here is against the trend, and I'm a trend follower. I don't see a really good sell signal here. There's no formation, there is no candlestick pattern. There's just the fact that we are on the resistance, which is not enough for me to go short, especially that we also do have a flag formation here, so upswing flag and possible upswing. As for the Fibos, also the price respects Fibos, so 50%. No, in my opinion, this is not a good occasion to sell, unfortunately. And now Euro to Canadian dollar, that is a huge drop, but this train is gone and no reason to chase it, and I hope you will not do it. Okay, Euro to Swiss franc, just gonna delete those instruments. What do we have here? Horizontal resistance on H4, downswing, correction, downswing, correction. Yes, that is interesting occasion to sell, but not the best one, so I'm not gonna trade it. Euro to British pound. This I'm gonna leave it here because we are on a support. As you can see, this resistance was not respected, so no reason to have it, but this support is respected. Okay, so resistance, resistance, support, 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 support. For me, this kind of reversal is a bit surprising, because after this, that set the bullish sentiment, and this retraced all that. Usually when you have an upswing like that, the correction should be smaller and then an upswing. Luckily I didn't trade this, but the thing is that on a Euro to British pound, as long as we stay above the orange area, buyers can be positive. Breakout of the upper blue line will give us a buy signal, and breakout of the orange support will give us a sell signal. So this is the situation on Euro to British pound. I think we will stop with the instruments here. You have a lot of great trading setups here, not to confuse you with too many. Rest of those instruments we will analyze tomorrow. Let me do a short recap here. So euro dollar, after the breakout of this line, that is a proper sell. Now we do have a small correction, but it's normal because this drop is very strong. But long-term sell signal on cable, long-term sell signal on Australian dollar to American dollar, long-term sell signal on the oil, short-term sell, long-term buy, on gold, sell, on dollar index, buy, American dollar, Canadian dollar, sell, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, short-term sell, long-term buy, Australian dollar to Canadian dollar, long-term sell, Australian dollar to Swiss franc, that is a long-term sell, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, waiting for the breakout, and breakout of those two lines will give us a proper sell signal. Euro to Australian dollar, I don't see a sell signal here, unfortunately. Euro to British pound, break out of the orange area, sell, break out of the upper blue line, that is a buy. So this is the situation on the market. I'm very happy, especially with those three, not because of the fact that I have those positions open, but because I was telling you about this setup. Those setups on Thursday, Friday, so you should not be surprised. And if you follow us, I hope that you do follow us, that you took. Now we'll have a small break. Thanks very much, guys, for attending this webinar, and see you in a half an hour on the webinar about basics of the Forex market. In the meantime, visit us on our Twitter account and our website alpari.news. All the best.